What's up, my people? My name is Diamond and welcome to the channel. This is where personal finance intersects with the real world, and it don't get much realer than this topic. I want to talk about what to do when you've done everything you can in dealing with a car loan and you realize you can't do anything else. And so you're ready to give it back to the bank or do what's called a voluntary surrender, i.e. a repossession. I want to walk you through that process so you understand what's involved and what it looks like. And I want to be sure to give you some options when you may feel like you're out of options. So be sure to stick around to the end. If you're an existing subscriber, then thank you for your continued support. And if this is your first time catching one of my videos, I invite you to join the community. You can do that by clicking the subscribe button and enabling your notifications so that you don't miss a thing. Let's jump into it. The first thing I want you to know is that there are over 2 million cars repossessed in America every single year. That's over 5,000 cars each and every day. So you are not alone. So there's no need to feel any shame about it. Personal finance is more mental than math. So as long as you learn a lesson from this, you'll be sure to never find yourself in this type of situation again. So what's the difference between a repossession and a surrender? Really, it's the same thing. Repossession just has a negative connotation, so they started using the term surrender. And depending on your lender, you may avoid certain fees associated with a repossession, such as the repo fee, the towing fee, and if you're really lucky, they might stop collecting on the loan when you surrender the vehicle, meaning you won't have a bunch of late payments on your credit report in addition to a repo. Now here's the process. You have a loan on this vehicle and you're responsible for the loan balance. And just because you give the car back, it doesn't negate the fact that you owe them that money. What they'll do is take possession of the car and sell it for whatever they can get. Once they sell it, they'll then come back to you for the difference. So you'll still be responsible for the difference between what they was able to sell the car for and what you owed on the car. So you may be thinking, Diamond, that doesn't sound too bad. What's the problem? I give them the keys, they go sell it, and then I have to pay the difference. Whoop-de-doo. Well, here's the problem. Banks aren't in the car business. So they're going to send it to auction and just let it go for whatever because they know that they still have you on the hook for whatever they don't get at auction. So they're going to get their money. And here's where it really becomes an issue. You owe $26,000 on this car. And they sold it for $15,000 at auction. Now you owe $11,000. But the car was valued at $22,000. So if you would have sold it, then you would have only had to pay $4,000 instead of $11,000. And because now you have a repossession on your credit report, they're going to come after you. And since you don't have the money in the first place, that's probably why you had to get rid of it. Then you're not going to be able to make that payment all at once. So now you have something going in collections, and now you have to deal with that. And they can take you to court, they can get a judgment, they can garnish your wages, and depending on your state, this can follow you for years. So it's not just about the amount of the car and getting rid of that car. That may very well feel like the best option at that time, but I promise you, if you go forward, you're going to look back and say, dang, that was not a smart move. So even though in the moment, a lot of times you may feel like you don't have any options, this channel, this is what we're about, giving you options and helping everyday people get through everyday real problems. So here are some options for you if you're looking to turn in your car and you can't pay your car anymore. One way to avoid voluntarily surrendering your vehicle or getting your car repossessed is to find somebody to take over the payments. Now, in traditional auto financing, there is no take over my payment option. But what you're looking for is someone who's going to purchase the car at your loan balance. So whatever you owe, that's the price they're willing to pay. And they'll go out and finance the car, get their own financing, and then that'll give you a check to give the bank, and you'll be clean and clear of the deal. Now, if that's not an option, the next best thing you could do is sell the car yourself before it gets to a repossession. Because again, you have the ability to sell the car for what it's worth, and you have a vested interest to get as much as you can. So you can sell it for that same car that's 20, you owe 26,000, it's worth 22. You can sell it for 22, and now you have a $4,000 difference. Now, how do you do that? Because the new buyer, of course, is wanting a clean title because they're giving you $22,000. That's the agreed upon price. Well, you have to go out and find that $4,000. And one of the ways you can do that is going to a bank or credit union and getting an unsecured personal loan. And that loan, since it's unsecured, it's not going to be tied to the car. You can use that plus the $22,000 you get to send to your existing lender, and now they'll release themselves from the title, and the new owner gets a clear title, and you're good and you're done with the deal. And this is one of the reasons why it's so important for you to jump on this as soon as possible. Like, don't struggle with making these payments for 6 or 12 months trying to make it work, only to find yourself having to surrender the vehicle or get it repossessed. Because since a personal loan is unsecured, it's actually a harder loan to get than, say, a car loan or a credit card. So if you've been struggling with the car loan and now you have 1 or 2 or 3 late payments because you've been trying to do the right thing and pay this thing off, then you may not be able to get that personal loan, and that may nix that option altogether. So be honest and just say, I can't afford this and I'm gonna have to get rid of it, and start looking at ways to get rid of it. And honestly, if I was in that situation, I wouldn't just take out a $4,000 loan. I would try to take out a $6,000 or $7,000 loan. That way I can go out and buy me a $2,000 or $3,000 car, and I'm clean. I don't owe this $26,000 anymore. I only owe 6 or 7. That car is out of my life. I don't have a repossession. I didn't mess up my credit. It's a much better deal to owe $6,000 or $7,000 than to owe $11,000 or $26,000 and have negative marks on your credit report. Another way to avoid this situation starts with the purchase. So stay tuned to this channel. Make sure your notifications are turned on, because I have a video that's coming up on how to decide how much car you can afford, and it's probably less than what you're thinking. And if you make the purchase correctly, then you're less likely to find yourself in a situation where you need to surrender your vehicle or you're getting your car repossessed. And I understand life can be like a roller coaster, and all of 2020 has been a big curveball for most of us. But with the right information and proper planning, we can make it through anything. So let's recap. If you're facing a repossession or you're thinking about giving your car back, just understand that you still are on the hook for the loan balance. They will sell your car at auction and come back to you for the difference, and you are fully responsible for that amount. They will want it up front, and if you can't pay it, then it'll go into default, and now you will have a collection on your credit report along with the repossession. And let's face it, if you have a recent repossession on your credit report, the chances of you going out and getting financed for another vehicle is highly unlikely. And if you do, it's most likely going to be at some subprime auto lending place with a 20+% interest rate, prepayment penalties, and all type of gotchas. So this is definitely not a situation that you want to find yourself in. And even if you feel like you've exhausted all the options at your disposal, now you understand that you could get someone to take over your payments. You also could sell the car. And lastly, you can completely avoid the situation at the purchase. And you've already enabled your notifications so you don't miss my upcoming video on how to properly decide how much car you can afford. If this video brought value to you, give me a thumbs up. And if you really enjoyed this video, then I think you will really enjoy this one right here. So go ahead, click on that next. And until next time, I'm Diamond. Peace.